Welcome, everybody. It is February 26, 2025. Welcome to Change the Shed. Happy that you're here. It's a sunny day in Colorado. We have not had nearly enough snow here, but yes, hoping for more of that. It looks like y'all are coming in from all over the place. I'm so happy you're here. Julia's here from Germany and Julie from Kirkland, Washington, working on a tapestry from a recent visit to the Big Island of Hawaii. That's fabulous. Sybil's here. Welcome. Oh, Sybil says she can't make it. It's evening in Europe, and we'll catch you the next time, Sybil. Karen is here from Massachusetts, making color and design decisions. Susan's here from Pennsylvania, and Dave from the UK, and Deborah from North Carolina. Fine Shetland is here from Indiana. Just finished a fringeless little house tapestry with handspun. Hooray! Waiting for Americ's tall guy to arrive. That's fun. Happy that is hopefully going to work out. Margareta's here from Sweden. Dave from the UK is working on the Greek key pattern. That is something from Color Gradation Techniques class. Carolyn's here from the UK. Carol's here from Maine. Mary's here from Wisconsin, working on another Tapestry Discovery Box design. Hooray! Corrine from the UK. Elaine's working on weaving ripples in water. That's awesome. From the UP of Michigan. Barb's from California. Nan's here from New York. Yes, Nancy, you're also in Colorado. So you're a little higher than me. I'm at 7,000 feet. She says she's at 8,600, not quite mud season. We're reaching mud season here at 7,000 feet. So I got a lot of mud in my boots yesterday. Brenda from Pennsylvania and Heather from Indiana and Pearl from Virginia and Margaret from the UK working on concentric curves. Oh yeah, that's madness. Circles. Yeah. Good luck, Margaret. You can do it. Jessica's here from Illinois and Betsy from Kansas City and Lona's here from Denmark and Janet from St. Louis and Laura from Massachusetts. Paula from the UK where it is wet. You probably have mud all the time. Catherine from Wales, Barbara from Germany, Maureen from the Shetland Islands. Very cool. Anna from another soggy UK person. Y'all are just hardy people over there in the UK. Renee's here from Massachusetts. Part of the reason I know that I've had comments from people that they're annoyed that I go through and welcome people, but part of the reason for that is because I know that YouTube gives you an ad when you first log on to a live call. You're going to get an ad. I have no control over that. I cannot turn it off. It is part of their live thing. There's nothing I can do about that. So I will not say anything important in the first little bit of the broadcast. At least the first, I think it's 10 seconds or something. I've gone on much longer than that now. But what I will tell you about the YouTube ads is that, again, I cannot turn them off on the live feed. I'm sorry about that. If you hate the ads so much, you can subscribe to YouTube Premium, which of course is what they want you to do, which turns off the ads. And that is another subscription that YouTube will be happy to take your money and take the ads away. So also, if you go back to the recording, everything is on the recording. You will still see ads when you go and watch the recording, but it won't cut out content in the recording. So that's my little spiel on the YouTube ads. I'm sorry, I cannot turn them off. I would if I could. I can't turn them off for the live feed. The next Change the Shed is on March 12, which is in 2 weeks. Really exciting. Just going to keep on working on stuff. Mary, that's funny. She says, hearing all the names feels like watching Romper Room as a kid. I love it. I might have to go look up some old episodes of Romper Room. We didn't really have television when I was a child. Don't assume why that is, but we lived in a place that just didn't get, free reception, and my parents were too cheap to get cable. So sorry if you're watching, Mom. Anyway, it's probably good that I didn't have television as a child, but I might have learned to read sooner if I'd had Sesame Street. Patreon, I am doing a Patreon. That is what is right here. If you go to my website, which is just tapestryweaving.com, in the navigation, there's a thing that says Patreon. I am posting that you can join for free, and lots of people have done that. And that's where you'll find the show notes for Change the Shed. If you join for free, you can get all the links and stuff that I talk about. And then for higher tiers, I'm giving you bonus content. If you would like to see what I'm working on my tapestry right behind me, let's see if I can turn this on the big loom. That is going to come off in the next couple of days if I'm lucky. Probably not today, but maybe tomorrow. I will film that for some of you who want to see that on Patreon. Anyway, that has been really fun, and I appreciate those of you who have supported me there. That is the way I am keeping this program going. And for those of you who just want to watch free on YouTube, you can continue to do that, and that's awesome. And you're able to do that thanks to the people on Patreon. So thank you all who are supporting me there. So the last thing I will mention is my newsletter. I think social media is challenging lately. I personally have not signed off Facebook because I feel like that's how my community communicates with each other. Found out about a community town hall this week because of Facebook. So I will continue to be on Facebook, but if you want the news, if you want to actually see news from my studio, please sign up for my newsletter. It's called Tapestry Picks. It comes out on Thursdays. The one tomorrow will be a review of Tommy Scanlon's Marking Time book. I'm so excited about this book, and it's been a long time coming. The review, I think the book came out last November or something, so I hope if you don't have a copy yet, you will be getting one because it's a great book. Anyway, I'll talk about that on the blog tomorrow, and that's always noted in my newsletter. All right, that's my whole list of announcements. I'm happy that you're all here. We're going to work on the tapestry I started last week. So this tapestry I'm calling It's Fine. And here I'll show you I've been working on the cartoon. The cartoon is not finished, but here is an updated view of the cartoon with some of the yarns that I've chosen for it. And here's, I've got a bucket of, these are Weaver's Bazaar yarns that we'll be using. There's tape on some of them because I've actually noted what I intended those yarns for. Sometimes I forget. It's nice to make notes for yourself, and blue tape is good for that. Anyway, I almost scuttled this project this week, actually, because I just felt like it was too much. It was a hard week in the United States, and in terms of politics and all of the things that are happening, and this tapestry, of course, is a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's a little bit poking fun at some very, very serious things, and so I almost was like, I can't do it. And then I decided this is something that might help get me through the pandemic. And the pandemic might help get me through this moment. And so, I don't know. I'm going to keep going for today anyway. And I think that if nothing else, it is a fun tapestry to weave. It's a double set piece. And that will be fun to look at as well. All right, and I'm weaving it on my Shacked Eris or a Ross loom. Let's see if I can manage to get all the buttons in the place where I might want them. Let's see. I'm gonna turn on another light here. Hopefully there's enough. I never feel like there's enough light ever. Okay, so I haven't done a ton more than I did last time. I'm still in this border piece, and I'm working on doing these little clouds, and you'll notice there's 2 warps for It's a double set piece. That means I'm going to weave it at 8 EPI and 16 EPI. So that's a lot of fun. Yes, and thank you. Weaving is a balm for all kinds of things. So no matter what the things are, weaving is a good thing. I have woven more in the last 3 months than I have woven in a very long time. So that has been helpful. Okay, let's see. Renee, I like that. I'm going to keep going for today anyway, is a good tagline. For this moment in time, it is a moment in time, and things will continue. Anyway, let's look at weaving. This got a little cloud. So these are little cloud forms. Let's see. This is how this cartoon will line up. Can you see that? Yeah, sort of. I will finalize the full cartoon, and you'll be able to see that probably by the next time I do this. But there's a edge to the border here, and here's where that leg and that boot will be. There's a lot of hiking references in this tapestry, which is part of the fun part for me. But these are little cartoonish clouds. And so we're working on putting those in. They're a little fussy, but I'm weaving them at 8 ends per inch. And I think today, so I was working on this last night. I'm not completely sure I love this dark part here, but at the moment I'm going to leave it, and I think it will probably be fine. This is sort of a double layer of clouds, and then I think the rest of it, I think it will work out fine. My experience tells me it's going to be okay. Just leave it. I doubt it will be the thing. When I get the whole piece done, I doubt it will be the thing I look at and say, oh, that was dumb. So onward. So here I'm ready to put in this, this cloud. There's a point there, and the cloud will be 2 colors like this one over here, gray and white, which, oh, I should have gotten those butterflies ready. Let's see where we are here. All right. I think there's 2 wefts hatching together here. They're 2 different colors, and I have labeled them because I think you can probably see this here if I put this up. That it's darker here and lighter here. I just didn't have quite enough of the darker color, which is the one I preferred. So I'm doing a little hatching. Those of you in the Tapestry Discovery box, we're doing hatching to blend the colors across here from darker to lighter. All right, and because the bottoms of these clouds are straight lines, there's a slit, and I've been sewing those slits. That makes it easy to work on just one section. Yeah, Harley asked if there's a recommended sample tapestry to learn the basics. Have a saffron loom and a range of Weaver's Bazaar Fine, if that helps. Yeah, the saffron and Weaver's Bazaar Fine are great. That's what this whole bucket that I held up is Weaver's Bazaar Fine, and I'm using that for the 16 EPI, but you can use multiple strands at 8 EPI or any other EPI. You just change the number of strands in your set. So, of course, I'm going to recommend that you take one of my online classes. If you've never woven tapestry before, take Introduction to Tapestry Weaving is a great one. And then there is a coupon code for 100% off the cost of that class, which is quite inexpensive, for Warp and Weft if you want to continue weaving tapestry and learn all of the basics. Warp and Weft is my big comprehensive class. All right, let's see if I can focus here. Let me weave a little bit more here, and then we'll put this cloud in and I will have shown you something worthwhile. That's a little bit of a weird, there's a little bit of a weird dye thing happening in that yarn right there. It looks like these are all hand dyed yarns. These, this is Harrisville Kohler singles, dyed by me. And so it looks like there's, I don't know if you can see the little, let me change my, I don't know if you can see, there's a little dark spot in the yarn, which is part of what I like about hand-dyed yarn, is that you get little inconsistencies sometimes. If you're a good dyer, and I've done a lot of dyeing, you can get to a point where you have to make the inconsistencies happen on purpose because you get used to how to do it to make it perfect, and I don't want it perfect. So is that a life lesson somehow? We don't want it perfect. All right, I'm just filling in this form for a second, and then we'll add this next cloud. It's been a while since I wove a lot on an upright loom, and I've been weaving a lot on my rug loom that's behind me. Get this tapestry finished so the next one can get started. And my body's a little bit complaining about this upright position. It's very different from what I'm used to. I mean, I weave on upright looms like the Merricks all the time, but it's usually just to do a sample for a class or something. So that's not true. I just been weaving on that other loom for a while, so my body's like, whoa. Okay, we're trying to do a little curve here. I didn't put the gray in this cloud because it was smaller than the others, and who knows if I'm going to regret that. But one thing you can do design-wise is repeat this one white cloud somewhere on the other side, on the other border, and I think it will balance itself out. Great question, Anne. Have you plied your Kohler singles? No, in this case. Actually, as I was winding some more butterflies for this piece last night, like here's one, you can really see that this is not plied at all. I just wound it, straight from the ball. And the work in progress that I'm doing, which if you're on Patreon, you can see that. I'm not showing that work anywhere else. I apply that on the wheel. And so the butterflies look very different. You are correct. As I was winding these last night, I was thinking, oh, I need enough of these. I probably should have used the wheel, but I don't actually think the fabric really looks any different. So I don't know. Maybe we could compare that. I'll compare the fabric of this to the fabric of that other piece. I don't think you'll see any difference in the finished surface of the fabric. All right. Great question. Just so you can see the form going in, let me fill this in a little bit, and then we'll add the new. The warp feels different, this doubled warp. It's been a while since I did the handbasket piece, which was another piece this size with a doubled warp, and it feels softer than the regular warp I use. It's the same warp. This is 26 cotton seine twine doubled, but the two warps are right next to each other, and they are smoother on my fingers because it's almost like they're flat and wide instead of round. Just an interesting materials difference. So these are two different colors that I'm hatching together. So you get a smooth color change. I can't see the difference there, so. Okay. Okay, so that's a great question. Speaking of the color singles, does it tend to come unplied in the wash dye process? Do you dry it under tension? So I dye them as singles. I definitely don't ply them before I dye them. You could do that, but I don't, because I want the reason. Yeah, no, of course I wouldn't do it that way. The reason that I am using singles at all, otherwise I would just use Harrisville Highland and dye it one color. The reason you use singles is because I have 3 yarns here, and they are, in this case, 2 different colors. Actually, you can see them right there, 2 different colors. I want to be able to change the color in the weft bundle by changing the colors that are here. So I would never dye all 3 of these together in one color, because that defeats the purpose, and it's a lot of work to deal with singles. If I wanted it all one solid color, I would just get Harrisville Highland. So there's the answer there. It wouldn't come unplied in the dye process, I don't think, but it's a little unruly. And yeah. Anyway, let's put this cloud in. This is actually not Harrisville Color Singles, which comes in undyed, and I don't want to mess with bleaching. You can bleach the yarn. This is bleached white. The sheep don't come in this color. So this has been bleached, and that I wanted the very white color. So this is Faro. It's a Swedish yarn. And I wanted that very white. I did, if you watched a couple episodes ago, I was doing a sample using the natural white, and definitely decided I wanted the unbleached. So I'm going to add the gray, but I only have 1 warp to start with. We're going to talk about shedding again. I apologize, I didn't have these butterflies ready. Oh yeah, okay, great. That commenter has clarified, meant if the yarn stays together as singles, does it tend to be finicky to work with? Oh, when I'm using it like this? No. This is how almost every tapestry weaver does this, except they probably use a tapestry bobbin and not a butterfly. Butterflies are free and fast and just my habit. But most tapestry weavers would bundle yarn like this and put this on a tapestry bobbin to manage it, which probably works a little bit better. Butterflies get a little bit tangled. But it is how almost everybody who weaves tapestry works. I don't know if that helps, but almost everybody uses weft bundling, and so you'll always have something like this where there's a strand, and you either wrap it on some kind of a tool to manage it, or you take the cheap option and make butterflies. I will say that the butterflies that are applied act better than these do. All right, so I'm going to want 2 colors in here. And remember, when you do meet and separate, every time you add or subtract butterflies, you do it in 2s, or you will screw up your meet and separate. In this case, it might not matter because there is a slit here. And so this area is not interacting with this area, so I'm not as concerned about meet and separate, but I definitely need meet and separate between this weft and the one I'm putting in here. And the one on the top will be white. So let's just look at this weft will be going in the shed that's open. This weft will be going that way. And the white, I need to go this way in the open shed. So I'm putting this under this up warp, and I'm going to add the gray in maybe the next shed. Yeah, weft management is fun to talk about, and there are so many different ways to do it. But yeah, it's a great question about, and you'll notice, like, I'm just talking and you can't see my hands. I'm twisting this. And so it's a habit of mine to twist things as I lay them in. I want the weft bundle to blend, but you don't have to twist it for sure. Okay, so next shed with the white. And I think in the next shed I can add the gray. So now we're in the open shed again. That one's going this way. This one's going, hold on, was there just one? Yeah. This one's going this way. And I want this to go this way. Little gray bottoms to the clouds. I actually was out for a walk yesterday and I saw clouds that looked like the ones I'm thinking of, and I actually meant to put a picture in here for you all, but forgot to load that up. Oops, let's go back and put this one in. It just was fun to be like, oh, those are the clouds I'm weaving. Because, you know, clouds can look so many different ways. Okay, now all right, other shed. I realize these aren't even. I can weave this middle part up now, but doing the shedding next to where that was helps me make sure I get the shed correct. So even if things are not sort of all level, that's okay. You know the sheds still need to work out. All right, there's just one there. All right, let's weave this up a little bit. So this warp is down, so I'm not gonna put something on that gray. Let me, hold on. Let me give you a better view. Let's see, I'm working on that. Hold on. All right, now maybe that will help. So this gray is down right now, and I'm going to change the shed, and now I'm going to wrap it. That one is going to have a one warp wrap somewhat frequently until this form gets wider. I am using the treadle, the new stand and treadle that Shacked came out with for this loom. They are not paying me to say this, but I really love it. I'm pretty excited about it, honestly. It's quiet and it just works really smoothly. The advantage of the Merrick's treadle over this one is that the Merrick's doesn't have to go on a stand for their treadle to work, and this treadle only works if you have it on the stand. So it makes the loom a lot less portable, but I really like the way it works. If you're going to use the loom in one place, like my intention for this piece is to leave the loom right here until this tapestry is finished. So it's a perfect time to use the treadle. So there's another Can you see that? Yeah. There's another cloud right here that has a, I'm going to take this out. I think that might help. There's another cloud right here with a straight bottom on it, which flat bottom means I can weave just this section between these two slits because that's an edge, like another selvage. Oh, I thought I turned that thing from doing that. Sorry. There we go. All right, so this gray one came up again. I'm going to do another wrap. I'm avoiding doing a one warp wrap all the way up because that is super hard to stitch. And I need to stitch all those slits. Actually, with this design, I probably could have done like some kind of an interlock there. That would have looked fine, but I didn't, so we're sewing slits. Okay. I also, the white doesn't have any dye on it and it's been bleached and it is quite a bit thinner. Even then this gray doesn't have dye on it either. It's a natural. So I am noting that the white is thinner and there will be times where I need to probably put some extra passes of the white in there, sequences. You can do that, that's okay. All right, one more of this and then we'll move our curve over. Curve practice. Vivian has been dyeing the color singles with natural dyes. That's awesome. Okay, I tend to keep the water temperature below boiling, but the yarn tends to get curlier when it dries. Any thoughts? I have had batches of the singles that have more twist in them than others. And so it depends on how long ago you bought that yarn or, you know, what they were doing, how much twist is in it. I don't think if you're using it for tapestry, it makes any difference if it has a little bit more twist. And I would say just do good yarn management. Make sure you have it in skeins and that it's well tied. And then you put it on an umbrella swift to wind it into a ball. I guess I'm questioning why it's a problem. Unless you're using it for something besides tapestry, it might be a problem if you're using it for knitting. But I am weaving from the front, Nan. Thank you for prompting me to clarify that. This is from the front. And this is a picture piece, which is not my forte. I usually weave abstract things in my personal work. And so I have lost my dots here. So I'm weaving from the front. I think that whether you weave from the front or the back is a personal choice, but this is from the front. All right, I need my cartoon because I've lost myself. All right. Okay, great. That's why it doesn't come back down. I will get that cartoon ready for you all before the next Change the Shed, I think, so we can see the whole thing here. Dave, great question. What color thread do you prefer for sewing slits? I always use this. This is Coats Extra Strong upholstery thread. It's what my teacher, James Kohler, used. And that's what you see here on the piece. It is a polyester, very strong thread, and I think a conservator would argue with me about it. I've said this other places. It's definitely the strongest fiber in this. I've got wool weft, cotton warp, and that upholstery thread is polyester, and it's very strong. It's the strongest fiber in this tapestry. So if we're talking about a tapestry that, you know, someone's conserving in 200 years, that thread is probably going to cut the warp in 200 years, especially. This is woven sideways, so it will hang from the weft, and that upholstery thread will be important to keep the slits together, but it will also, you know, if this were a monumental size tapestry hanging in a museum or a castle or whatever, the upholstery thread. Anyway, your question was what color, and I use white. We can talk about what you use to sew slits in class, but you can use regular sewing thread, especially for small tapestries. I use white because I can see it, and my stitching, I don't know if you can see there, but you can't see the stitching, and that's important to me, and so it doesn't matter what color. What matters is that I can get the stitches in there in a way that I can see what I'm doing, so I like white. I do have other colors of this thread. It comes in other colors. There have been a few instances where I've chosen to use a different color. Just trying to decide about this shape. Sorry. I'm gonna need to start putting in this one soon as well. Oh, that's great. Anne said Merrick's may have redesigned their shedding device. It's Whisper Soft on my Zeus. That's possible. I'll have to ask Claudia about that. My shedding device for the Merrick's I've had forever. It was one of the very first ones, and so I would not be surprised if there have been some upgrades, and maybe I need to get one of the newer ones. All I will say is that shifting the shed with your feet is a miracle. I love it so much. So that's part of why the rug loom behind me is obviously a countermarch loom that you shift with your feet, and it's so much faster and easier on my body than reaching up all the time to change the shed with a handle. Okay. Let's see. Vivian, who asked about the dyeing. I don't think it has to do with the dye, Vivian. I think that's a good question. I think it maybe just has to do with slight variations in the spin of the color singles. I also don't think it's a problem. Laura, you're making me laugh. Oh my God. Thank you, Laura. She said, I have that problem with the tapestries in my castle all the time. Thanks. That was great. You guys are the best. All right, so this one, you know, again, one warp wrap popping up. So in this little cloud, I'm doing, you know, there's some one warp wraps and then it comes over. So that will make the slit sewing easier. Where there's a one warp wrap, I'll just stitch up for 2 sequences instead of 1. Yeah, Anna says she uses, and this is very common. This is something good to mention too. Thanks, Anna. She tends to use something that will blend in case it's visible despite my best efforts. And so that is actually true. And it always depends, right? On what materials you're using, how small you're weaving. Like I'm mostly weaving at 8 per inch with fluffy yarn. So my stitches don't show. But if I was weaving with a finer yarn at finer sets or like a a firmer yarn when I use Weaver's Bazaar, which is a beautiful, firm, reflective yarn, which I use a lot. But when I'm using it, even at 8 ends per inch, I have to be more careful with the stitching because it will show more than this. Kohler Singles is this like so forgiving because it's got a little bit of fluff to it. So great point, Anna, that it also depends on what else is going on. What color you use. Back to Dave's question about what color do you use. It depends. It depends. That would be my tagline for my business if my friend Jillian Moreno hadn't already taken it. It depends. Awesome. Okay. It's kind of fun weaving these little clouds. I feel like that needs to go back one. You know, I sampled these clouds, but I'm still figuring out how to weave them. Isn't that the way of things? Right. Let's just see how it looks. We can always unweave, right? I'm not a fan of unweaving, but it does happen. Also, speaking of mud season, the other season it is dog shedding season. Some of you know that we have two, of all things, the hiker has mini Dachshunds. And the white one, who's the rescue, not that that matters. I don't think they're connected, but the first couple of years, first year we had him, we've had him a year and a half. He hardly had any hair because he was malnourished and all of the things. And now he has plenty of hair and he's shedding it. They're not supposed to shed. Well, it makes it hard when you're weaving dark things. Keep the dog hair off. That is definitely a first world problem. And I'm going to be laughing all day, Laura, about that. I definitely have that problem in my castle. That's hilarious. Can't tell you how much I appreciate the laugh. All right, did I already do that? Yes, you saw me do it. All right, this is fun. Okay, so I get, carried away and start having fun. And okay, so what's the next step on this tapestry? I will work all the way up. So here is where, you can only see the middle. Here's where the center of that, I'll put up the cartoon again. Hold on. The center of the line, I'm working sideways. So we're looking at this line as the edge of the border. And by next time I should be putting in the leg and the foot, and there will be a lot going on there. I'm going to do some of this. Let me make this a little bigger even. I'm going to do some of the mountain with 16 EPI, the dumpster fire. It will be, I think the whole thing will be 16 EPI because I want to weave the letters in and I will need that detail. And the foot and sock will be 16 EPI. And everything else I think will be 8, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, except up here, you can't see it under this thing. There might be a butterfly and that will be 16 EPI. We'll see how I feel by the time we get to the other side of the piece, whether the world warrants a butterfly or not. All right. Let's get rid of that. Okay, everybody, thank you for coming. And maybe I was the only one laughing, but I doubt it. So thank you for a good sense of humor and for coming along with me on this little piece. We'll be having more fun with it. And if at any point we get too bored, there are plenty of other things to weave. So I hope that you are all out there weaving something fun or doing something creative, making something. It's a really great hedge against uncertainty and anxiety. So let's all take care of each other and keep weaving. That's all we can do, right? For those of you, there's people all over the world here, and I really appreciate that. I also appreciate your varying perspectives on everything. So thank you for being here, and I will keep weaving if you keep weaving. I'll be back on March 12th for Change the Shed, which is in a couple of weeks. And if you're on Patreon, you can see all the updates. I've been doing lots of updates about stuff, and sometimes I will do behind the scenes about this. So if I have some moment in this where I'm like, well, I don't know what to do, I'll do a behind the scenes video for those of you on Patreon. So that will be really fun. All right, I'll see you soon. Go weave something or go for a hike or go back to work or whatever you're doing today, but take care of each other, and I'll see you pretty soon. Bye-bye.